The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, Ashwin Gupta from HDFC Securities. A warm welcome to the webinar on attending SLBM segment. Today we are going to learn about the product called Securities Lending and Borrowing, which is offered by HDFC Securities to all our investors. This is a product where investors can earn some extra income by lending these shares to the borrower. When we talk about securities lending and borrowing, this product facility is provided by HDFC Securities, wherein it allows the investors or the lenders to earn some extra income on their idle stocks. Now, when we talk about earning some extra income, customers may also think about, if I give these stocks to the borrower, how will I earn and who is the guarantor in between, who is going to settle these shares, who's going to take care of the financial obligation. Here in SLBM segment, NSECL, it's a part of a NSE, it's a clearing corporation, National Securities Clearing Corporation of India Limited. They help the borrower and the lenders to clear, settle, and guarantee trades. They help the borrower and the lender to clear, settle, and guarantee all the financial transactions. Hence, when I talk about features of SLBM, a lender can earn some additional income, generate an additional income from an ideal portfolio. Second, multiple stocks. There are multiple stocks which are available, which are also traded in derivatives, futures and option segment. So a customer can also trade or lend these shares to the borrower, and wherein borrower can use those shares in futures and options as well. So that's the multiple stocks. The list are basically uploaded or given by NSECL on which we trade. Third, enable short sell. In case I have a bearish view on the stock, I can borrow stocks, I can sell in the market, thereby the price goes down, I can buy the stocks and give it to the lender. The price difference, the spread, I can earn some extra income from the same. And the fourth, which is the most important thing, most of the lenders may think about it, if my shares will go, who's going to take the guarantee? Who's going to take the ownership? The shares will come back to my demat account, to my account after a certain period of time. Here comes NSECL. It acts as a financial guarantee, and hence the risk is entirely covered by NSECL. So customers, investors need to worry about it. Keep, where are my shares? When will I get my shares? Everything is governed and taken care by proper mechanism. When we talk about SLBM and how many days these shares will go away and when will I get my shares back. So a stock can be and how will I get a stock can be borrowed, or I can lend the shares to the borrower for a period of 1 month till 12 months. So there's a settlement date on which the date wherein the shares will come back. For example, if I give the shares for January 2022, so it is fixed. I will get the shares back on first Thursday of the respective month. If I give it for December, I know the shares will come back on 2nd of December, first Thursday of the respective settlement month. The shares will come back to my demat account. If I've lent the shares, it will come back automatically in my default linked demat account where the shares will be credited. Now, why securities lending and borrowing? The question we may think about it, why this product is so important and why should I do this securities lending and borrowing? Borrowers, the main function of borrowers is the borrower will buy the share or will borrow the share, I would rather say. He has a view that the market may go down. If he has a view the market may go down, he will borrow shares from the lender, sell them in the market, and buy them when the price of the shares falls. The difference between the buying price and the selling price minus the cost, brokerage, and interest, that will be the trader's profit. I would say the borrower's profit. However, I as a lender or we as a lender, how will it benefit me? When I give shares to the borrower, I know these shares I'll keep it for a long term period. I may keep it for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, right? But at the same time, when I keep hold these shares in my demat account for a long term, it is not going to give me some benefits out of it. So why shouldn't I give these shares to the borrower and earn some additional income? Hence, lenders can earn some additional return on the securities when they hold for a long term. This product will give me give a lender the benefit of edge, wherein they can earn some extra income. And the shares, if I have lent 10 shares to the borrower, 100 shares to the borrower, automatically those shares will come back in my demat account after a specific period of time. At the same time, I'll earn some extra income, additional income, minus the brokerage, minus the GST. So this product gives a win-win situation for the lenders, for the investors, wherein they can earn some extra income, and the borrowers to borrow the shares from the lenders, and they have to return it back to the lender, as lenders are the beneficiary owners of those shares. There are two types of securities lending and borrowing, or two types of series, I would say. Series A and Series B. Series A is a kind of contract wherein any corporate action, because as we all know about it, there are corporate action benefits given to the investors. When investors are liable, or investors get the benefits of corporate action, then investors, if the investors have given those shares to the borrower, and if there's any corporate action benefit, in the event of any corporate action benefit, the shares will get debited from the borrower's account 2 days prior to the X date and credited back to the lender's account. In Series A, if a client has given the shares to the borrower 2 days prior to the X date, 2 days prior to the X date, in event of any corporate action, the shares will get debited from the borrower's account and get credited to the lender's account, as lender is the beneficiary owner. Hence, lenders or the investors need not worry about their corporate action. The shares will automatically come back to your demat account, and the benefits of the same will be credited to you itself, to the investors or to the lenders itself. However, in Series B, any kind of corporate action, the process remains the same. Any kind of corporate action, the process remains the same, except dividend and stock split. Except dividend and stock split. In case any dividend or stock split is announced by the company, in case a dividend or stock split is announced by the company, the shares will remain to the borrower. The shares will remain to the borrower. The benefits of those dividends or the stock splits will be given to the borrower. However, whenever there is a closure or when there is a settlement, NSCCL will ensure the original shares with the benefit of corporate action, that is dividend and stock split, will be debited from the borrower's account and credited to the lender's account. So here, lender will again get the benefits of corporate action. Only in case of dividend and stock split, the benefits will be coming later on when the settlement is closed. But at the same time, lender will get the entire benefit of corporation, whether it is Series A or it is Series B. So whenever we place an order in SLBM, we ensure, or whenever you place an order, you have to mention it as Series A or Series B, and it is denoted by some series. So it is denoted by some number. So whenever I place an order, for example, if I place an order for TCS for December Series A, I will mention TCS12. If we can see this table, if it says TCS12 is December Series A. So whenever I'm placing an order for Series B January ITC, so I will mention as ITCX1. If I'm placing an order for HDFC for series B December, so I'll mention HDFC XD. HDFC XD. X denotes for series B, D denotes for December. So it is important to cross check while we place an order in the system whether it is series A or series B. What is series A and what is series B? It's just simply about corporate action benefits getting to the investor either in series A or series B. The customer will definitely, I mean to say, the investor or the lender will definitely get the benefits of those corporate action. Only whenever a investor places an order, he needs to signify or he needs to mention whether it is series A or series B by these numbers, that is 01, 02, 03, 04, so on so forth for A series, X1, X2, X3, X4 for series B. For October it is XO, for November it is XN, for December it is XD. Now customers may also think, if I have given these shares for a period of 1 month or 2 months, what about the taxation part? What about the taxation part? First and foremost, whenever you trade in SLBM segment, whenever a customer trades in SLBM segment, taxation, that is long term and short term capital gain, is not charged because it is not seen as a capital transfer. It does not attract any capital gain. It does not attract any long term, short term capital gain. However, the income which a customer has received, that is income from other sources, which needs to be mentioned, which needs to be shown under the headings of income from other sources. So customers needs to be aware, I'm not selling my shares, I'm just giving shares to someone. It's a temporary lend, it's a temporary transfer. It is not change of ownership, it is not change of beneficiary owner. It's just a temporary lend from the lender to the borrower. Hence, it does not attract any capital gain, but at the same time, it is attracted, or income tax understands this is an income, it will be clubbed under income from other sources. How to get privilege? First and foremost, whenever a customer would like to trade in SLBM, customer needs to take a privilege. Privileges is very important. Privilege is free of cost. A customer needs to have privilege to trade in SLBM segment. It's very simple. Customer needs to go to HDFC Securities website. In HDFC Securities website, we have something called products. In products, we have securities lending and borrowing under equity headings. There, customers can click on how to get privilege and apply online. Do remember, very important, whenever a customer is taking privilege either offline or online, income proof needs to be updated, income proof needs to be uploaded for getting privileges for securities lending and borrowing segment. For SLBM segment, customers needs to take privilege and upload any income proof. I meant to say, income proof can be ITR copy or a salary slip or 6 months bank statement or DP holding more than 10,000. Any of the supporting documents is required to get privileges. Whenever a customer uploads the document and takes privileges, customer will definitely get a mail from the securities part, HDFC Securities, stating your privilege for the SLBM segment has been taken, and we'll come back to you within 24 hours. After 24 hours, you'll get a mail with regards to the same, that privilege has been granted. Once the privilege has been granted, customers can trade online, customers can call the RMs, and RMs will place an order on behalf of customer as well. Placing of orders is very simple. It's just like equity. Only thing is, we have to ensure whenever we are placing order, we need to mention series A or series B, which will be there in the script code itself. So I'll show you the path. How do we place an order? How do we go about it? Very simple. Customer needs to go to HDFC Securities. In HDFC Securities website, customers needs to click on login. Once I click on login, I'll enter my username and password. Once I enter my username and password, this is my HDFC Securities main dashboard, the trading terminal. I click on equity. Once I click on equity, I'll go to Securities Lending Borrowing segment. There I click on lend. Once I click on lend, a lending panel window will appear. A lending panel window will appear wherein I need to enter the script. For example, here I mentioned ITC X9. So this means I'm placing an order for ITC, I'm placing an order for Series B, and I'm placing an order 9 in the month. It means in the month of September. So ITC September Series B, that is 9. I simply enter the quantity, the amount, and I place an order. Once I place an order, it will ask me to confirm order. It will ask me which DP I need to select. I need to select the respective deposit demat account number and click on confirm. How to modify orders? I'll simply go, if I want to modify orders, I'll simply go to modify order, and in modify panel window, I can click on modify or I can click on cancel. So if a customer wants to cancel the order, so customer can cancel, or customers to modify the order, it can be done. I will show you how to place an order online as well. I'll go to HDFC Securities website, HDFC Securities. Here in products, in equity segment, I'll go to Securities Lending and Borrowing. I click on Securities Lending and Borrowing. I'll click how to get privileges. I click on how to get privilege. This is an offline form wherein customers can download this form, print this form, sign it, and along with the supporting documents can be submitted to the nearest HDFC Securities branch, wherein they will forward it to the central head office and they will take care of it. A customer wants to apply online, click here. Privileges can be taken at free of cost. There's no problem for taking privileges. When a customer wants, in fact, all the customers should take a privilege. Whenever a customer feels, okay, this share I need to give it on lending, if the privilege is there, the customer can lend the shares whenever they want. I can simply click on, I have accepted the terms and conditions. I click on proceed. I'll simply enter my login ID, password, and date of birth, and I'll upload the documents which is mentioned out there, and the privilege has been granted. I will also show how to place an order. I'll click on online login. This is my HDFC Securities trading portal, or we say as empowered website. This is the portal wherein customers can place an order in equity, derivatives. Customers can see their portfolio. Customers can download their contract notes. Customers can place an order in basket order. Customers can place mutual fund orders. This is the platform, a trading platform, which we talk about as an empowered website. Here in this, I'll simply go to equity. As this is an equity segment, I'll go to equity. In equity, I have something called SLBM. So I'll simply click on SLBM lend. I click on lend. I want to place an order in TCS, so I'll enter as TCS. Now I have series called 010203, or I have X1, X2, X3, X1, X2, X3. I want to place an order for TCS XD. So here I'm placing an order for TCS Series B December. So automatically it will show 2nd December. It is Series B. I'm going to place order for one share. I'll simply click on one. If I want to know how many borrowers and lenders are there, I'll simply click on get quotes. So here I can see there are no borrowers, however, there are lenders at 50 paisa, there are 7 lenders at 50 paisa. Quantity is 27,974 shares. Similarly, we have a lender of 95 paisa for 336 shares. So I can simply understand the market depth. I can place an order for 2 rupees and I'll place an order. Confirm order and hold. So this is how the orders are placed. If in case I as a customer I want to change the order, I'll simply click on order book. Okay, the market is there. So I'll simply click on order book and check my order status. I will show the NSE website as well. I'll simply click on NSE SLB watch. This is the NSE website wherein I can see the prices of all the stocks and I can place an order. I'll simply click on NSE. This is series A and this is series B. I want to see prices for January series. I'll simply click on Jan 2022. So here I can see there are borrowers for JK Cement, for Corforge, for Bajaj Auto at 1 rupee, Tata Motors 57,025 paisa, HDFC Bank, HDFC 8,400 shares at 50 paisa, Infosys 45 shares at 50 paisa. So here I as a lender I can also place an order. So here you can see Tata Motors, there are 250 shares somebody wants to lend at 80 paisa and the borrower wants to take 57,000 shares at 25 paisa. So this is available on NSE website. So I can simply go and check the prices on the exchange website as well. I will also show you the illustration part, how the SLB system works and how to go about SLB and how to check the prices. For example, if I have some shares, 10,000 shares I want to lend at 5 rupees, how much will I earn and how much is the charges which I'll be paying to HDFC Securities. So if I see I have 10,000 shares, I mentioned 10,000, I kept as a lending fee of 5 rupees, I will net earn 41,150. That is the income for the lender. For example, if I'm a lender, I place an order for 1,000 shares. I place an order for 1,000 shares. So I will earn 4,115. That is again, it does not attract any capital gain. It will be considered as income from other sources. It will be considered as income from other sources. After deducting brokerage, GST, transaction charges, I will net get the charge income of 4,150. You can get in touch with us. You can get in touch with your relationship managers and customers themselves. They can place an order. It's very simple. Only thing is the first thing what investors need to take is the privilege. Once privilege is being granted, customers can look upon the share which they have and they can look upon the prices at which they want to give it to the lender. They can simply calculate the quantity which they have, the price, and this is and the Excel sheet as shown here will inform you how much income will you earn. The process is very simple and customers can place an order online as well as they can talk to their relationship managers who will definitely get in touch with the customers and they will assist the customers on placing an order, and customers can earn some extra income. I'm open for question and answer session. I request uh, attendees to ask questions if there are any. So I'll be glad to assist you. I'll be glad to answer all your queries. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Jagdish. Any changes in returns for lenders for Series A and Series B? Yes, sir, there will be slight changes in Series A and Series B. The premiums for Series A and Series B would be different. There's a question from Mr. Piyush. Typically, how much one earn in on each share? Sir, it depends on the borrower, it depends on the market, the demand and supply as well. So if the borrower wants the shares, he or she will borrow the shares. Depends on the lenders as well. So it's a demand driven market. How much is the demand? Depending on that, the customers can earn some extra income out of it. There's a question from Mr. Ramaswamy. What and how this differ from pledging and get financial support to trade? Sir, pledging is something different. Pledging is you are giving your shares to the uh, pledger and you will be taking a loan out of it. So that is something different. However, this is you are giving the shares to the borrower and you are earning some extra income. These are idle shares. You will get some premium amount, which is an income. In loan against shares or in pledging, there you pledge your shares and take some amount. There you will be charged some interest. The interest will be charged. Okay. There's again a question from Mr. Ramaswamy. First, please explain the process of benefits and then go for demo site. Okay, sir. I'll repeat it. The benefits of the SLBM or securities lending borrowing is here. You can definitely earn some extra income just by giving these shares to the borrower. The shares are kept in your demat account. The shares are kept in your demat account. But those shares, if you're keeping it for a year or for 2 or for more than 5 years, 10 years, those shares will be number of shares will be same. That will not give you any benefit. However, whenever you give the shares to the borrower, the shares belongs to you. You are the so this is the process, but right. So this is wherein you can earn some income out of SLB. Okay, rate is per day basis. No, sir, lending rate basis for a period of specific month. For example, if I am giving for November, it is for November month. For I'm giving for December, that number is still December. There's nothing for a daily basis. It's defined as a settlement for the settlement month. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Piyush. Series represent for when shares can be debited from the borrower or when shares come back to the lender. Sir, very simple. When I talk about series A and series B, series A, any kind of corporate action, the shares will get debited from the borrower's account 2 days prior to the 2 days prior to the set X date. The shares will come back to the account. But in series B, it will remain there for stocks and dividend. Other than these two, the contract closes. There's a question from Mr. Amit. When is the payout? So payout happens on T plus 1 day. For example, if I'm giving shares or if I'm lending shares to the borrower on Monday, the funds for the same for the premium amount which I'm going to get, I'll get on T plus 1. That is Tuesday. The next day, the funds will come to my account, and the shares will come on the settlement date. There's a question from Mr. Vijayan. Any minimum quantity for lending shares? No, sir. It depends on you. If you have one share, you can give one share, two share. There's no fraction, and there's no lots as well. So there's nothing called lots as one lot is for 100 shares, 50 shares. There's nothing as such. It depends on you, sir. So if you want to give one share, you can give one share as well. There's a question from Mr. Jogeshwara Rao. What's the lending period after placing an order? So whenever you place an order, you define it as a lending month. As I showed you, sir, if I'm placing an order for December, I will mention as SBIXD. If I'm giving for January, I will mention as ITC X1. So the script itself says what's the lending period. If it is X1, X2, X3, it is Series B for Jan, Feb, March, April, May. So similarly, if it is for Series B, if it is for Series A, I will mention as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Sarvani. Once bonds, sorry, there are no bonds. This is always shares. So once shares are lent out, will they be returned on a given date? Yes, it will be returned on a given date because Thursday is the settlement, and NSCCL will guarantee that these shares will come back to your demat account. Or is there any chance of default or delay? No, sir. It is always there on the settlement date. The settlement date, the shares will come back to your specific demat account, or I would say default demat account, which is linked with HDFC Securities trading account. uh, Mr. Sandeep has asked a question. What if I want to sell the shares once I have lent them? Sir, this product is designed as such. If you are lending the shares, you should be sure about not selling these shares within a period of 1 month or 2 months. So only investors who would like to keep those shares for a long term can use this SLB product and take benefits out of it. There's a question from Mr. Purnima. What is the minimum shares that can be lent? There's nothing called minimum shares. There's no lot as well. So you can even lend one shares, two shares, but it will not be in a fraction. In India, we don't have any shares in fraction. So shares can be given in numbers, units, tens, hundreds, thousands, whatever. Is the earning for the full period, Mr. Guru? Yes, sir. If the earning is for the full period for settlement or the per month, which you have defined for. There's a question from Mr. Jogeshwara. Can we recall the SLB order? Sir, if the order is executed, the order cannot be cancelled. If the order is placed and it is not executed, till the order is not executed, investors can cancel, modify the order. Once the orders are executed in the exchange, the orders is fixed. There cannot be any changes in that. But there's a question, Mr. Sandeep. Will the premium differ for period of lending? Yes, the period will definitely differ from period of lending. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months will be differing from the current month. So every month, the longer the period, the longer will be premium. There's a question from Mr. Guru Chandra. Lending fee, how do I decide the lending fee? Sir, lending fee is something which is an open topic. It depends on the investor. Today the lending fee is 2 rupees. Tomorrow the lending fee may be 5 rupees. Day after tomorrow the lending fee may be 1 rupee. It all depends on the demand. It all depends on the borrower. There's a question of Mr. Dena. Please talk about rollover and all relevant details. So sorry for the inconvenience. We do not have rollovers currently. However, we have settlements for this specific month itself. There's a question of Mr. Guru Chandra. Which series is more beneficial for the lender? So Series B, Series A is one and the same thing. There's slight difference in corporate action benefits. It it's one and the same thing whether you give for Series A or Series B. There will be slight difference depending on the demand and the number of borrowers. There's a question, Mr. Ramasamy, who will monitor the shares given to HDFC and how many times used a trading period as HDFC lender shares rate per day at 5 rupees specific XYZ stock or changes the value fluidity of the stock. Sir, Mr. Ramaswamy, I would simply say who will monitor? So whenever you give shares to the borrower, NSECL is the main person who's going to monitor all those transactions. HDFC will ensure that you get the credit of the lending fee. HDFC will also ensure when the shares are returned back from the exchange, they will also get credited to your default account. And HDFC Securities will pay you the lending rate on T+1 basis. So it's a foolproof, safe, secure transaction done by NSECL. So there's a question from Mr. Rajul. How to activate SLB and what is the maintenance fee? Activation in SLB is very simple. Simply go to HDFC Securities website. In products, we have equity. In equity, second last option, we can go to second last option. And there we can get how to get privilege and you can take privileges for SLB. No, there is not at all any maintenance fee. There is no maintenance fee for SLBM. There is no segment activation fee for SLBM. It is absolutely free of cost for our investors. Okay, does the order get confirmed during the market hours only? Yes, the market hours only, because there's nothing called off market order, and the market for SLBM is open till 5 o'clock. Okay, can you please tell me, there's a question from Mr. Purnima. Can you please tell me the difference between Series A and Series B? Series A, wherein investors can give the shares to the borrower, any kind of corporate action, the shares will come back to the demat account of the investor or the lender. However, in Series B, if the shares are given to the borrower on Series B, except for dividend and stock split, the shares will come back with demat account on 2 days prior to the settlement, 2 days prior to the X date. There's a question from Mr. Guru Chandra. Who decides the lending fee? Sir, there's no one specific who decides the lending fee. It all depends on the borrower and the lender and the demand supply. The main thing is demand factor. Yes, Mr. Ashish Thakur, after placing an order for lending, do I get a confirmation that order has been accepted? Yes, sir, you will definitely get an message that order has been accepted. At the same time, we also send a contract note. There should be contract between the customer and the RMs. So we always send a contract note directly to you. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Drovin. I have 2,000 shares of ITC. I use SLB scheme for 1 year to this stocks. How many my extra income? So you can get an extra income details. You can get the ledger report. From ledger report, you can extract the money which has been credited to your ledger through SLBM. There's a question from Asmita. When do we get shares back in our account? In the trim, or we want it back? What can we do? What can we? Ma'am, we cannot recall the option. However, you'll get the shares back on the settlement date. For example, if it is December, you will get the shares back on 2nd December itself. Any further questions? Any further questions? I'll be glad to assist all your questions and queries. Okay, there's a question from Mr. Sriram. Hello, this is Sriram. I want to know whether we can still carry out sell call options, covered calls on shares we lend. So when we do SLBM, it is a equity segment, and when we talk about uh, covered call or call options, that is a derivative segment. So the segment, both the segments are different. However, you are selling in call option, you should have the required stocks for delivery in case required. Still, that's derivatives. So derivatives is different from SLBM. There's a question, Mr. Uday. If lending for June 22, when is the expiry date? Okay, sir, if you are giving shares for the month of June 2022, the expiry date would be 2nd of June. It will be there on the 2nd of June. Okay. Uh, there's a question, Mr. Ashish Thakur. How to get the list of shares that can be lent to NSE? So you can definitely get a list of shares on NSE website, and at the same time, you can get in touch with the relationship manager. He will be glad to assist you with the same. Any further questions? Okay, there's a question, Mr. Sriram. Once lending order is executed, can lender still pledge the lend shares for the margin in F1O segment? No, sir. Whenever the shares are lent to the borrower, the shares will get debited from your demat account and it will go to the borrower's account. So whenever you are giving shares to the borrower, the shares will get debited from your demat account and will travel to the borrower's account. And when the settlement is closed, the shares travels back to your demat account. So if you have given the shares to the borrower, you can't lend the shares, you can't pledge the shares for something else, like for margin in FO or for e margin. Okay, there's a question from Guru Chandra. Any update on which stocks in demand for borrowing? So you can get in touch with the relationship manager. We definitely send mails to them. So you can call up your RMs. They will help you out with the same. At the same time, you can see the prices of these stocks on the NSE website as well. Any other questions? We'll hang up the call and hope this webinar was useful, and at the same time do take very good care of yourselves. Keep smiling and take care. Have a great day ahead and a weekend as well.